what I call as modern myth of work-life balance. And why I say work-life balance, that a strong realization started dawning in me that there is no work-life balance. There's only life.
Yes.
And you get only one chance of it. That's it.
Exactly.
So there's only life.
So hello and welcome to the another episode of Winners Talk. So as I promised you that I will bring the experts from all across the world to help you with your professional and business skills. And while we are working on this professional and business skills, there's one very important topic, that is the happiness. So today we have very special guest. His name is Ani Kaprekar. Hello Ani.
Hi. Hello.
So Ani is with us, and today we are going to discuss about happiness in career and business. So let me give you a little bit brief background about Ani. So Ani is a fitness enthusiast and always young at heart. And you can see with him, and at the same time, as we will go along and talk to him, you will get many aspects of Ani. Now Ani is a highly creative business and community leader with more than 30 years of multi-faceted global leadership career. He is engaged in several public and private initiatives in technology, entrepreneurship, and performing arts. As a life and executive coach, Ani coaches many CXO level leaders of multi-million pound companies and also mentors startup founders, professionals who are shaping their leadership journeys. Trained formally in theater and filmmaking, Ani is also a social media storyteller, followed by more than 1 million people across the world on Facebook. Now, Ani regularly hosts many virtual events and is a very sought after anchor on many platforms. And actually today I think I'm honored to have him on our platform. So Ani, welcome once again. Thank you for joining this.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, Ani. So I'll begin with the very first question, Ani.
Sure.
Why happiness is better than success? What do you think?
I would sort of rephrase this question, happiness better than success, because it is now not a situation of either or. It's not a binary thing or comparison. It depends on what is your definition of success. If happiness is integral to your success, then success is happiness, or happiness is success. Many a times we confuse ourselves with our own definition of success. We are not very clear.
Correct.
How we define success is often programmed by what we see around us.
Exactly.
Made through various symbols of success that we see. And we also think that if we are successful, then we'll have happiness. It may not be the case. Maybe being happy is a route to success. That also could work. Right. So I think the fundamental point here is happiness integral to your success? That's the key point. It's not about being better or either or. Does that make sense?
Definitely, Ani.
Yeah.
So one thing which I have noticed, like let's say we, while growing up, we learn from our parents or society. Sure. We watch TV, we watch read the newspapers and social media, and we sort of we means the majority of the people, they capture this definition of success.
Yes.
Throughout their life, I guess they are trying to achieve the success, but I guess their ultimate aim is to achieve the happiness. And do you think maybe what they look for, let's say in a career or business, do you think generally they end up chasing something different than they should have been?
It's very it will differ from individual to individual.
Right.
So let me tell you my own story, because that's all I can talk about. I have to preach,
and would love to hear as well.
So see, in 2011 I had completed, say, about 25 years in my corporate life, in India or in UK. Quite a, so to say, by all the world measurements and all the worldly parameters, very successful career.
Right.
But at the same time, somewhere around 2011, I realized that I had subscribed to what I call as modern myth of work-life balance. And why I say work-life balance, that a strong realization started dawning in me that there is no work-life balance. There's only life.
Yes.
And you get only one chance of it. That's it.
Exactly.
So there's only life. So at this stage, you have two choices. One is you raise the profile of your work so much that it equates to your life.
Right.
You know? So you're completely happy that this is my work and I'm happy with it, and that's it, life. Or if you're not happy, then you accept that, well, my level of happiness in life is a bit degraded, but I have to do this work. So you accept that level. That's also possible.
Right.
And I could not do that work-life kind of balance. As I said, it dawned on to me that there's only life, and that's what matters. So I decided to quit my job, change my career, and completely change track. And my focus changed to I will do whatever makes me happy. That's my first criteria.
Right.
Whatever makes me happy. Now, whether by other measures of the world, it comes under the category of success or not, that is for others to see. It is not my job to see. As long as I'm happy doing it, that is fine. You know, you spoke earlier about we learn from our family, we learn from our friends and everything. What happens is we automatically start becoming fans of certain symbols of success. Could be money, could be big houses, cars, whatever. All these are symbols. Finally, they mean a lot to you, but they are finally what can be seen and
exactly
demonstrated. So these are symbols. Or we are into rituals of success. Success means this, success means that, and you follow, after you raise your game, you are into a different category, you get promoted, you become CEO, you become founder, whatever, various rituals of success.
Various rituals.
You subscribe to that, all of that. Now, all of this happens invariably by comparison, because you're always comparing it with outside world, whatever others are doing. So I'll give you an example that there was a time when I was in the UK, I fancied good cars.
Right.
That, oh, this is the latest model and I should have it. And oh, this is fantastic. My friend has this car. I should also have it. Come to several years now, I'm happy without a car. that pressure is not on me. Now, of course, that's the way I have shaped it. That's the way I have shaped my model. But the point I'm driving is, if happiness is at that core, then the way world is supposed to look at you from the success parameters, it's not something you should be bothered about.
Oh, excellent.
Does that make sense?
100%.
It is for others to
totally changes the perspective.
Absolutely. It totally changes the perspectives, because for me, happiness is at core. So for me, my definition of success is how happy I am. That's all. Nothing else matters. The problem is, as soon as I start subscribing again to those symbols and rituals, then I'm dialing back into the world measurement model. No, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that's not for me. That's not for me. It may be for some others. That's absolutely fine.
Right.
So, yeah. Does that answer your question?
Definitely, and at the same time, it gives a very different perspective. You flip the coin and you see totally new side that you, let's say, never imagined like that.
Let me add a point there.
Yes, please.
You spoke earlier about it's success, happiness better than success, whatever the way you started the conversation. We also often subscribe to a thought that when you have A, B, C, D, E of some success,
yes,
that will lead us to happiness.
Yes.
Okay, that's the normal thinking, that I have a small house now. When I have a big house, I'll be happy. I have a small car now. When I have a bigger and better car, I'll be happy. Whatever.
Correct.
I've seen one country. When I travel to 10 countries, I'll be happy. Absolutely fine. If that works for you, that's fine. However, The problem it creates is you have automatically made your happiness dependent on certain things outside.
Correct.
So the dependency has been created, right?
Yes, yes.
So if A happens, then I'll be happy. If B happens, then I'll be happy.
True.
If you are truly in pursuit of happiness, then happiness is not the destination. Happiness is the starting point. So rather than seeking happiness into various achievements, you start giving happiness.
Right.
That's what the starting position becomes. So happiness doesn't become a destination. It becomes a choice you start with. So if something goes right, you're happy. If something doesn't go right, you're still happy because that's the choice you started with.
Very rightly said, Ani.
Yeah.
One small question I might
Please
ask you
ask anything.
Is it took me a long time to understand this concept, that happiness is the way, let's say.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yes.
not the destination. So let's say you should not depend on A, B, C to stay happy. And then but for like many of the people or many of my friends as well, when we discuss this time, it's very difficult to grasp that.
It is.
Because they see many things are happening in their life, let's say work wise, career wise, economy wise, and that affects. So they always say, okay, even if I choose to stay happy, maybe the environment is not keeping me happy. So how do we deal with that dilemma?
How do you break that chain?
Yeah, exactly. Because it seems like I start as a happy, but let's say something happens in the market and that brings the unhappiness. So, how do we...
It's like, it's no different than learning to drive a car. On the first day when you sit inside a car to learn to drive, everything scares you. You think you're going to be the best driver and you have all this, whatever, your film and all visuals in your head. I'll speed this car, I'll take on this road and that road. But first time when you sit behind the steering wheel, you are scared. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You press on accelerator and you let go of clutch and car jerks and stops, right? How far back that happened? Maybe 15-20 years back. Today when you sit in your car and start driving, you don't remember that first day, right? You just drive. You don't even think of it that, oh, what's going to happen? Do I look left? Do I look right? Oh, this mirror, that mirror. Nothing comes into your mind. You just sit in your car, you start the car and you drive, right?
Exactly.
How did that happen? Practice.
The
answer for everything is
practice.
It may not work first time. It may not work second time, but you practice.
Right.
And coming to this simple example, when you learn driving, you probably learn on a very small, non-crowded, non-traffic road, right?
Correct.
Then you started going to simple.
Yeah.
No fear. There's nobody around. I can take my car out and I'll drive.
Exactly.
Then you went on to little bigger roads where there's
Yes.
traffic from two sides. Then you went to motorway. Then you started doing long journey. The same thing applies here. So it's not like some kind of if you're fortunate, it can be like some kind of spiritual awakening. We'll keep that aside. But otherwise, everything matters with practice. So you don't expect it on the very first day or second day or third day. But if you keep practicing it, you learn the way. And when you say learn the way, what you actually are doing is you're training your own mind. Everything about training your own mind. Again, coming back to that driving analogy, when first time you started learning driving, I bet you did this when the instructor said, okay, here is an accelerator, here is a clutch. You look down between your legs and say, okay, where is clutch, where is accelerator? You have to actually physically look. Now you don't.
Even the gears as well.
Even the gears. You have to check
in the first or second.
How am I holding the steering? Oh, 10 and 2 or this, that. Now everything is muscle memory.
Correct.
Cars have changed, right? You may not be driving the same car that you learnt on. You may not even remember it. Correct. You probably are completely driving a different model, maybe with different gears or no gears, maybe a lot bigger or smaller than the previous ones. But still, what you've trained yourself is still the same.
Yes.
Before you get into some car now, you don't think, will I be able to drive the car? You know that you can drive. So it's the same with pursuit of happiness. You start somewhere, you practice, you succeed, you fail, you practice again, you go on, and then it becomes part of your being. That's the simple answer.
Yes.
Now,
And
yeah, go on.
I have one more question. Maybe
Please ask. I hope this is making sense.
Definitely, and because it's, let's say, some people or maybe some person, they are conditioned to think in a certain way. So when we get these sort of thoughts, at least it grows our horizon, makes us at least ponder about, what is happening. And unless somebody is made aware of certain things, they will never think about these things. As you said, people always think like happiness is difficult. Maybe when you gave the analogy of the car, now it suddenly starts to make sense, because it takes time to become, better driver.
Correct.
So on the happiness side, maybe, it will take a little bit of time, but it will happen eventually.
Yes.
And as you said, it will happen as a second nature as well. Not even, you have to consciously look for that.
It takes time. It's not instant.
Exactly. Now, this is, I think, for the first question, answering the first question you mentioned, is you started doing whatever makes you happy.
Yes.
Now, at the same time, when we live in a life, there are certain requirements we have, like,
of course, yes,
money requirements,
yes,
or maybe certain needs. So, how do you think we should balance, keep the balance with them? And
very good, excellent question, and I'm glad you asked that. And while you're asking the question, you answer that question.
Okay,
and I'll tell you how you answered the question. You mentioned that in life we have very many needs. Yeah, the word you used, money and everything, the word you used is need.
Yes.
The second word that you also could have used is want.
Okay, yeah.
So the balance is everything between a fairness between what you need and what you want.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So I need to go from point A to B. So I need a mode of transportation. Right?
Yes.
I need to go from A to B. I need a mode of transportation. Whether I want a car, a poshest car, or I want an access to a bus or a tram which will take me there.
Correct.
That is your choice.
So it's a need and want, is it?
It's that. However, now it all sounds very easy and very poetic. Again, it is all to do with practice. And there are a couple of other tips I can give you later.
Yeah, please go on.
But understanding the difference is first step. And second step is accepting that difference.
True.
That is something
yes
very different. So for example, now if I go to some function somewhere, let's say some event,
yes,
many of my network friends and all, they will reach there in their posh cars, right? And I'm happy to walk from the tram and reach there looking at the surroundings, because that's the choice I made, right?
Yes.
And I'm happy with that choice. So first is understanding the difference and then accepting it.
Right.
That is important. It's not important just to academically understand this. Otherwise, you and I can have an academic conversation till cows come home. Many of us can do that. You can read it in the books. Accepting it leads you to implement it. That is most important.
Exactly. And I guess, I think accepting is, I personally feel, is one of the hardest part, because then maybe sometimes for accepting something, many people think about, what others will say, or, that will affect my brand image, or, maybe I work so hard to reach somewhere, and then now accepting something maybe simple that doesn't go with what I've told so far. So I think that's a big dilemma somebody has to.
It is. And remember I said I'll give you 2 tips kind of it. So the 2 tips, one is the point that we have made so far is that happiness can be integral to your success. It's not binary.
Correct.
It's not either or. If happiness is your definition of success, then that is what you will pursue. Number 1.
Correct.
Number 2, just as you do in your career or in business, even for this, you have to take certain bold risks. Okay, you have to do that.
Absolutely.
The choice, and that risk is manifested in the choices you make.
Yes.
Once you have done the choice, there are 2 things that will happen. either you will succeed in that, it will go forward as you intended, or you will fail.
Right.
Now, if you succeeded as you intended, there is no harm. You can, that's good.
True.
Now, if you fail, so to say, you have a problem. The reason you have a problem, because you think it's a failure, number one.
Correct.
It eats you up from inside. And number two, you think, well, what will others say? What will others think?
Correct.
That is
their other people's
correct
thoughts and the judgments.
Now, what happens is, in my observation, and I can only share what I've learned, that what others say, what will others think, is a thought prison.
Correct.
Okay. Why I say it's a thought prison? Because you really don't know what they're talking or not. They are living in their happily their own lives.
Correct.
But you create a thought prison for yourself, and you isolate yourself in that. Oh, what will others say? What will others think? Correct. And we forget that the key to this thought prison, also to the door, is also from inside. You can very well open this thought prison and come out. Say that if some people may say something, and that is fine. You understand it, you accept it.
Right. So, just link to the same thing,
Yeah.
As you said, because we are talking about the thoughts, we say this is a train of thoughts or chain of thoughts. The thoughts, they rush to our head. So, do you have any tips, how we can, let's say, stop that chain and, try to hold them on and, replace them with something positive, or how to break that, let's say, negative thoughts?
I have to be careful how I answer this question, because certain methods that work for me may not work for others. But where do thoughts live? Let's say in your brain.
In the brain, yeah.
Where does brain live?
In the head, yeah.
Where does head sit? In your body.
On the body, yeah.
Okay. So my way, and the way that I subscribe to, and what works for me, is taking care of your body, your physical self.
Okay, good.
So that freshness, if it is constantly there in the body, it transfers to my thoughts, it transfers to my emotions. That's what works for me.
Right.
Some people may have certain, different methods work for different people, right? Some people may use prayer, some people may find some spiritual path, whatever is their own method.
Right.
So what works for me is, you have to see yourself by like a triangle, okay? 3 points. Your physical state, your thoughts state, your thoughts and your feelings, 3 points. Your physiology, your thoughts and your emotions, all are linked.
Right.
So many a times here what happens, okay, you have some negative thoughts in your head. They're all going, you're sitting on the sofa and thinking, this happened, that happened, and now what?
Exactly.
And thoughts. And then you say, oh, no. These are all negative thoughts. I should have now positive thoughts. I should have positive thoughts. Then you will introduce another thought in your head and say, oh, positive thought. Now go in and battle with the negative thought. And then suddenly what you have is, you have a solid thought soup, like complete soup, thought noodle.
Exactly.
Because you're trying to solve the problem of thoughts with thoughts. Don't do that.
Right.
Instead of doing that, get up and go for a walk.
Change the physiology, you mean? Yeah.
Change the physiology.
Okay, good.
Your thoughts get stirred.
Right.
See, let me give you a live demonstration. I have this Diet Coke in my hand, if you don't mind. It is no different than stirring this, right? Stirring the water, right? So same way, you move your physiology, you change that environment, your thoughts also change. Once that changes, your emotions change. So always do not look at, I don't subscribe to that school of thinking of, oh, you should have positive thoughts, and if you have negative thoughts, you should have more positive thoughts. You cannot battle thoughts with thoughts.
There is a battle, and there is that practical challenge actually, because
correct.
Many people say that replace, but it's all in head, so you can't replace that.
You show me a way, I'll be more than happy to see that. But what I have found is this, that if here is what I have discovered, and that's what I'm sharing, the tip. You have to understand the linkage between physiology, thoughts, and emotion. I'll repeat again. Physiology, thoughts and emotions. That is your complete state. That is your complete state, okay, as a human being in a most simplest manner. So if you're feeling sluggish, let's say, you're feeling very lazy. Imagine, Nilesh, like Saturday afternoon and you're lying down, you just had a nap and you completely chilled out your body. You don't want to raise your hand also. And this happens. Somebody starts playing some cricket match. You see those visuals and there's something exciting going on, right?
Right.
So the feelings get transferred into you. You start thinking about, oh, next ball, this batsman. And then you get up from your sofa. You suddenly forget that just minutes back, physiologically, you are a very dull human being. You forget that.
Yes.
So what has happened? Your thoughts and emotions have affected your physiology. Same way, your physiology can affect your thoughts and emotions also.
So that's actually a very practical,
it's a practical
tip, I guess, like whenever let's say somebody's battling with negative thoughts and we see people down, they look down, they worry, and by just simply changing their physiology or by getting up or walking a couple of steps, I guess immediately might be help them to go in the right frame of mind.
Let me share with you a trade secret kind of it. I coach a lot of very senior CEOs. People,
yes, please go on.
Right from small startups to say people who lead about 500 million pound company CEOs. You will be surprised at what tip I give them sometimes to process their thoughts. They are also stuck. They are in important meetings, right? And they have decisions to take and they're battling with their thoughts. I immediately advise them, change your physiology. That's all you do. It's as simple as that.
As simple as that, exactly.
So if you're intent listening and there's some thought battle going in your head, change your sitting position. Try something different. Stir the water. That's all you need to do. And then you see the magic.
And so, I guess, as you said, it's like instant magic, but thoughts and emotions immediately get stirred and,
Because we underestimate and we don't understand sometimes. Academically, we all know this, but we forget, unfortunately, that finally brain and thoughts, everything lives inside your body, right?
Yes.
And all of learning that we do is everything for your brain, right?
Correct, yeah.
All my leadership.
That is the most important, and you should train.
All this, what you're doing currently, this interview, people will absorb, people will listen. It's all will go as brain food.
Yes.
And after you're listened and all the wisdom that, let's say, you and I create in this conversation, you get up, wrap blindfold on your eyes and try walking 10 steps, you'll fall down. Where is the power of brain gone? Your body is the boss there, right?
Body is the boss, yeah.
So, linking to our topic, just as I've said, you make happiness integral to your success. Let it be. You also look at yourself as a wholesome creature, not just a product of your thoughts. And practice is the key.
Right. So, Ani,
long answer.
That was one of the brilliant. And as you said, many people worry about, let's say they manage big company, as you say, 500 million, that sort of profile professionals and leaders. And many other people think, they must be having some different special skills or high level skills. But then considering the importance and maybe those who don't know that, and as you rightly said, we forget that, the physiology can affect our thoughts, reside in the body. So physiology can have the instant effect on the thoughts and the feelings.
Yes.
So that was very, very good, Ani. Any final comments from your side, Ani? Because the interview for the winner talk is being watched by many professionals and many business owners. So do you have any couple of tips for them to maintain their happiness, or any final tips from your side?
I can only share what worked with me. Okay.
Yes.
So that I'm very clear that this works for me, and you can try out whether it works for you. So there is no preaching advice. Number one, understand your definition of success. Be very clear about it. Be very, very clear about it. Don't define your success by others' measures. Number one.
Right.
Number two, once you get clarity, even little bit clarity about your definition of success, go after it.
Okay.
with all your head, heart, and soul.
Right.
Not just head. Go after it. This will require taking risks.
Yes.
Take those risks. Okay? After those risks, even if you fail, it doesn't matter. You learn something out of it.
Yes, you'll get the experience.
Right?
Correct.
Number 5, get out of the thought prison that what will others say.
Correct.
Get out of that. Sooner the better. That doesn't mean you turn yourself into some kind of arrogant being. No, it is that you slowly start making yourself less affected by it.
Correct.
And these are the tricks where we come in, that if somebody has said something and it bothers you, go to the gym and exercise rather than getting into an argument. Yeah, that's number 5. And number 6, as far as possible, start making happiness as your starting point than the end destination. So whatever you get into,
Very true.
you begin happy.
Right.
There is high chances that you will end up happy as well.
No, Ani,
That's all.
thank you so much, Anna, because I know this might be, some people think it's a short interview, but many people must not have learned this thing unless they're in 20 years time. They got to listen. See, the way, as I said, upbringing, the way society makes us think that these are the measures of success, and professional career, business career.
Yeah.
People go from one destination to the other. Maybe deep down inside, they are looking for happiness. But now I think this particular interview, this particular winner talk will definitely going to help them. So Ani, once again, thank you so much for joining. So
my pleasure. Thank you so much.
So guys, those of you who really watched the interview, you will realize that there are so many beautiful and practical ideas Ani has shared with us. Please feel free to share this video with all your friends and family, so that those of who don't know about these concepts about happiness and how they can get this sort of happiness so easily, and as Ani said, make happiness at start point. So it's going to definitely going to help you. So Ani, once again, thank you so much. Thank you.
A pleasure.
For your wisdom. And